Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where today's topic deals with financial prepping during challenging times. And our host today is Rashan Hill. But before we get started, we want to make sure that everybody knows that we appreciate all the work and support that we get from our producer and the owner of this show, Carl Booker. And then the other thing that we also do is that we put out a newspaper called uh, Black Life Black Life San Antonio, and we this is put out every week, and you can subscribe also to it. And so we'll have that information in our comments section of the show. And then finally, we also produce yearly. This is the Black Book Directory and Yearbook, and this is for 2024. And in this book, we talk about the history of Black San Antonio, in the events that have occurred, and we also have the addresses of Black-owned businesses. So again, we'll have information about the Black Book on our comments section area for the show. So, HELOCs. I'm seeing commercials, I'm getting emails, I'm getting calls. Tell us about these HELOCs. Is it something that we should do? I mean, I'm 4 years short of paying off my house.
So HELOCs is a case-by-case basis. And what I mean by that is you have to understand what situation that you appeal to. You have some personnel, some people out here that when it comes down to their interest rates and where they're sitting at, a HELOC may be a good benefit. But you also have to understand the risk. So the HELOC, it may be where it's a fixed rate, and if it's a fixed rate, that's fine. If it's not and it's adjustable, well, we've seen that happen when we had the housing crisis earlier in the 2000s, where the adjustable rate got so high to where no one can afford it, and then we started going into foreclosures. So I would strongly advise that you seek out financial guidance, understand what you're actually looking into, and then when it comes down to where you're sitting at from a financial standpoint, do not do it just because it seems like you're at immediate risk. You need to really take your time, evaluate where you're coming from, look at your budget and see if there's ways you can shave off before you go to it. For you got 4 years left. I wouldn't advise you to go ahead and go into a HELOC. You're at the bottom end of the loan. You're paying the principal versus the interest. You have a lot of people right now that's currently paying more interest than principal. So they're going to try to use that HELOC loan to be able to put a compound interest up front, minimize their interest, be able to put more towards the principal and pay off the house sooner. But you have to understand that you have to follow that HELOC portion to the T to be able to get the benefits of what that HELOC can offer you.
Let me say this. Before you go any further, you're using jargon. Make sure you tell folks what a HELOC is.
Yes. So what the HELOC loan, what is basically is a home equity loan that allows you to borrow against what you have currently. Now, with that HELOC loan, what it does is allows you to utilize it for assets for home improvement, multiple different functions of what you need. And what you can do is have a methodology of borrowing against it, taking that capital, use that to where you put your whole check or your whole income in, pay your bills through that, pay your mortgage through that, and you can be able to itemize it at a faster rate than what you would have done if you were just going through and doing your mortgage month by month.
So let me ask you one more question about the home equity loan. Based on using Doc's example, if she's, let's say she said last 4 years, okay, but she needs some money, okay? She wants to do some things to her house or whatever. Why wouldn't she use the equity in her home to do that as opposed to getting some other kind of loan?
So if you're looking at that, the rates of the return of the HELOC loan are still kind of high. If you look at personal loans and different things, you can still use your home as an asset. You can have it set for a term. It's not going to be extended term that you're going to have in a HELOC.
Okay.
I wouldn't advise that.
Okay.
And then you still have the equity that you have in your home. So when you go to sell, a lot of these people I have seen in certain cases where they're taking all their equity out.
Good advice.
I wouldn't do that.
Good advice. I want to circle back. The first thing in the first segment you talked about was debt, okay? Yes. And that everybody's in debt. So what is your philosophy for those people? And the majority, I would say, the people who are out there who are watching, they would be talking about the debt and them being in debt. So what is your philosophy? You know, you look at what's the guy's name? You know, no credit cards and all that.
I completely understand. So debt, utilize your debt in a way that is beneficial. And what I mean by that, you have two different types of debt. My methodology, you have debt that is good debt, and you have debt that's bad debt.
Explain that.
So bad debt, liabilities, credit cards, cars, depreciating assets. Good debt, what could be considered good debt would be a home, something that is going to be an asset that's going to appreciate and give you value. For me, I look at both of them kind of as neither or, because your credit is built upon what you use and how you utilize it. A lot of us say, hey, my credit score is low and I don't understand why. Well, have you looked at your credit utilization to see if you're below the 30% threshold? If you're not, that's something that you need to go to, because that is a big pillar of your credit makeup. When it comes to your debt, understand when you're buying or selling, or you're looking at things that you're trying to purchase from a consumer standpoint, you're doing that based off a credit card. You're looking at anywhere between a 19 to 21%. You can get a personal loan based off of what you need for anywhere between 6 to 12%, depending on where your credit score is. Well, I'm paying 21% on a monthly annual coming back over. I'm going to be compounding, spending more money than having a fixed loan, and it's not going to do as much damage to my credit. We have to be able to understand where we're at from a debt capacity, but that also deals with budgeting. If you do not know how much is coming in your accounts and what's going out of your accounts, you're going to exceed your budget and you're going to start to borrow against it. For myself, I try to make sure that I don't hold any balances. If I do not want to exceed 20%. If I exceed 20%, I'm already feeling bad, because I know there's going to be a cost from this.
Are there times where you do exceed 20%?
No.
Okay.
No. So I've done it when I was younger, when I wasn't really understanding when it came down to credit. Honestly, in today's society, we don't teach it. So a lot of us learn by using, and that's some of the things that I hope that we can do as a society, is enrich ourselves so that we understand what we're actually signing up to.
Okay, and you were saying that you keep talking about financial literacy. I got to wonder if that was not taught to us as a means to keep us in a particular mindset to stay in debt, to be a slave to debt.
I wouldn't make it as specific as just us as a people. I would say it's more so how we look at where you are in your life. You have people that are in the top 1%. They use debt to be able to leverage even more. But to understand the ways of debt, all these things are in the library. All these things can be found online. It's about us trying to seek out and teach our youth. Even with my sons and my daughter, I try to teach them financial literacy. I try to make sure that is my duty, to pass along, to break generational curses, so that they can understand, hey, you do not have to suffer to be able to move forward. But also, when you are in these hard times, this is how you bounce back. Okay. If you are hit where you lost your job, you are in debt, how can I bounce back from that? Well, first, you need to see what is the bleeding coming from your finances. Well,
and what we're going to do, we're going to come back to that, and we're going to be right back, because this is really a needed conversation. See you in a moment.